Alright everyone, I thought I'd finally get this video done for you on tips on how I made my full-size canine. Now to start it off, we've got the bumpers that go around canine's edge. Take one off to show you. I think these cost about 50 something p, I think, and they were from B&Q, and I'm sure they were 50 something p each a tube, which isn't bad because the tubes are a fair length. They're basically just foam and they normally go around pipes, and I believe the split already comes in, so not too bad. So B&Q for that. Next bit, whoops. I'll get to these a bit later, but the red bits you see there is also the same material I used on the strips and the bit of red behind there. Now basically I went to a stationery shop and I just got one of those like plastic folders that you can like just about see through. I just got one of those and I just cut it up into what shapes I needed, and they're really good because you can't, when they're like stuck on a model like this, you can't see through inside, but the light shines out through them quite nicely, so it's quite nice. So, and those folders don't normally cost much, I don't think, and like I say, I got them from your typical stationery shop, so it should be easy to find really. So that's that. I'll leave this off for now. Some else on there I need to show you later. Next bit. The antenna. Now, if I dip his head forward a little and bring it out. The bit on the end is basically just one of those, turn his head, I still can't see. No, it doesn't matter. But it's basically one of those window suckers. I think you can find those practically anywhere, like Wilkinson's or anything like that, so they're pretty easy. The aerial there, you can normally find those, I think, in model shops and maybe B&Q, I'm not too sure. But, it's basically just one of these. And you can also find them on a lot of old radios and stuff, so if you ever find one lying around that's not working, it's got one of those, just unscrew it, that's all I use. So that's those. The next bit, the ears. Now, when you look at the real... He's drunk. When you look at the real prop, if you look at the if you look at the ears carefully, on the base, you've got there's like a little dome, and then in that dome is obviously the stem that holds the ears. Now, thing is, I can't remember where I got these. Well, I say I can't remember. I remember where I got these from, rather, but I don't know what they're called. And when I go back to the shop that I got these from to see if I can get any more, there's none there, so I can't tell you what they're called. So, if any of you know, let me know. I'll give you a closer look. And that's what they look like underneath. It basically is just a plastic screw. And that was the nearest thing I could find to that looked like the base that's on the real prop. Like I say, with the dome. I don't think they cost much, but like I say, I don't know what they're called. So, like I say, if any of you know what they're called, let me know, because as you can see here, it's a bit orangey. That's because my friend accidentally broke the ear, and I've had to try and glue it back on, and it's very fragile. So, and for some reason, every time this has broke more than once, it's always that ear. It's never the other one. It's very weird. It's jinxed. But yeah, that's those. What else have we got? The tail. Now, basically, the tail is just, it is a car aerial. As you probably able to see with the shape, it's just your typical car aerial. Reason being, when I first made K9, when I was about 15, nor my mum, nor my granddad could find anything that looked like the tail on the real prop. So they went to this car place and asked about the specific tail I wanted. No, couldn't find it. So car aerial did. So and it still does the job. So you can go to like any old car place, I assume, and pick up one of those easy. I think that's what they did. So that's that. Next bit, the sort of like square that's on his one side. All I used was basically lying around an old kitchen scale tray. It was just the right size, square, and does just nicely. So that's all I used. I'm pretty sure you can go into a charity shop and find a pair of old scales with a tray like that pretty easy and cheap. For me, it was just lying around. So I was pretty lucky. Next thing, the Scotty collar. Now, it shouldn't be, but it took me felt like forever to find a Scotty collar that looked alright. I came across that at a market by complete surprise, so I soon grabbed it. So, but I suppose these days with eBay and everything, you might be able to find one of those kind of collars a lot easier. But for me, it took forever. But yeah, that's basically that Scotty collar. Here, you can just see it. It's just your typical silver round dog tag. You can get those from any pet shop. Mine, I went on a day trip to Weston-super-Mare and I picked it up from a shop that I don't think no longer exists now. So that's all that's all that is really, and there's nothing on it. Which, funny enough, I did that deliberate because I think on the real prop there is nothing on that one either. It's just blank. What else have we got? Nose. Right. You see where the nose laser is? There's this. Now basically, I don't know if you saw them, there was these mints and they were in aluminium tubes and you just pop the lid and pull one out. Well, that's basically what that is. I just took the lid off and put a sort of non-slip mat, cut one up and put that inside so it'll hold. So it's basically a bridge for the nose laser and stops it, and the non-slip mat just stops it sliding in and out, you know, like quickly. Sounds so wrong. But yeah, and I just put a nose laser in. I just put a normal laser in, oh my god. So, that's that. And what I've done inside to support this is I've built like, I can't show you inside because the head doesn't open anywhere but the top. But in here, about here, I've built a sort of bridge inside. I think it was out of balsa wood, which is another thing I'm going to get to. And I sort of built like a bridge to support that. But I've left room inside for, I don't know if you can just about see the slit there. And that's for where K9 does his paper printouts, which I don't think he ever did it in the Sarahjane Adventures, but if you looked at any older Doctor Who's, you'll see he uses it a fair bit. So just simple paper goes in there. What was the other one? Balsa wood. Now, balsa wood is I've used on this a fair bit. Actually, if I can show you two things if I turn it carefully enough. Balsa wood, I've used it for the frame, so it holds the cardboard in place better. And I used it also for the base. These are, by the way, are just caster wheels. I got those because I thought, at least they turn and they do the job. So that's all they are. You can get those from I think like Wilkinson's or any standard shops. They don't cost much. And the balsa wood is basically, balsa wood is really good because yes, you can cut it with scissors really easy, but at the same time it's quite sturdy. It's very weird, especially on this. It's pretty sturdy, and because balsa wood is so light, because it's really light, it makes the job easy for you if you've got to carry your canine somewhere. Because it doesn't make, because balsa wood doesn't make it weigh too much. It is very light. It is really light. And I've used balsa wood. There's all sorts of shapes and sizes of it. You can get them from like model shops, and which is where I got my pieces from. I'm not sure if you can get them from B&Q or anything. And I basically used balsa wood for making the handles, like here and on the back by hand. Make the handles, the base as you saw, bits of balsa wood behind the bits of balsa wood behind the cardboard to hold the frame better, hold the cardboard and stick it together nicely. Balsa wood in the inner edges there, and various other places. So I'd advise balsa wood. Plus, I've been saying this for the last few years, but it's finding the right thing and then having the money to get it. But if I wanted to get a radio controlled car and or something radio controlled and put it in there, I know that the radio controlled car's got more of a good chance of moving this canine with ease because the wood that supports the frame is very light. So that's the other reason why I use balsa wood. So it is very good stuff. So if you can find some of that is something I definitely recommend. Now the cardboard I used is a bit of a mixture. On bits like the whole front section, this bit, the top bit, the lid there, top bit there of his head here, and various bits. I used cardboard you can get from, yet again, I believe you can get it from stationery shops, and then you've got the Range, which I think is a stationery shop and more. And it's I don't know if you can see it, but it's that thin. It's that stuff. It's sturdy if you you can cut it easy and that, but at the same time it's quite sturdy. You know where you're gonna break that easy is if you really yanked it or something. And as you can see, excuse me, I use balsa wood to help support it so it sticks the top part and this together. So that's that thin cardboard. And then for other bits like, hang on, other bits like the door, for example, and other things, I use this thicker cardboard. And yeah, again, cardboard is quite easy to get. So, and I suppose it's cheap. But then again, if you go around your local shop, I suppose all the time, they've always got cardboard in. So if you ever need a cardboard cheap or free, normally you can get it for free from a local shop. Just ask them what cardboard boxes they've got and have a look. And like I said, normally local shops have always got cardboard boxes in. So it's just the question is finding. You got to find a piece of cardboard that's the right size. Because when I did Canine's like side body, I just got one whole piece of very big thick cardboard, drew his side of his body out and cut it out, and then carefully cut the door out, and so you want big pieces. You do want pretty big pieces to make sure you can get the whole body on. What else? I can't remember if I said about the neck. I've been talking that long. But if I didn't, I'll just quickly say rib neck. I'll take this off again. Basically, one of these kind of tubes. I think they go on the back of a toilet. If I bring Canine closer, you see what the tube looks like at the bottom. And it bends pretty easy and out the top and into the bit of his head. You can see the light there and bits of balsa wood strips you can probably just about see. Couldn't remember if I mentioned the neck or not, but if I did, there it is again. Right, now here's the bit I wanted to explain a bit better. The buttons on Canine. Now, I couldn't find buttons that look like ones on the real prop. I tried because I wanted it to look more authentic, but I couldn't find any for the life of me. So the only other option I had was to make them by hand, which is a bit fiddly. But what I did, I went into Maplin, which I would have thought I would have found the buttons I wanted, but nope. But I had a look around and I found these things. I don't know what the hell they are. I just thought they're the right shape. Or one of them was. And I took this blue one, and I just got some, again, this thin cardboard, and I stuck this on the cardboard, drew around that. That made the top. Then once I'd done that, I went like this, drew around. There's your side. Then roll back, roll over that way. Drew. There's your other side. Roll back there. Do that. Draw around that bit. There's the other side. And like that. Draw the other side. And then basically what you get is a sort of like, there's a sort of like shape there. Then it sticks out there. Then it sticks out there. And it sticks out there. And you just cut that out carefully, and then you just fold it all together like a sort of, sort of like those funny cubes you made at school, when you cut them out and you have to bend them and stick them, the edges together. So basically like that. And that's what I did. Drew around this in the way I just said, and so I bent the sides, and then stuck them together, and there's your buttons. So that's how I did them. It is a bit fiddly. I won't lie, but I suppose the end result's worth it. So that's how I did the buttons, really. And to hold the hatch on the side, that's on. Hold the hatch on. You might find a better thing than I did. But basically, I've got a little magnet there. And I think that's about it. Magnet there, and there's some hooks, and a magnet there. It's just some random writing, and some hooks in various places, and it just basically hooks on just to make sure it stays. But I've tried to make it so you open and shut the side like you do on the real prop, or as best as I could get it. So I think they do something like that. Put it on like that, and then when they get it off, you just like that. As for the lights, in the head, it's basically one of those lights. I think it's LED. Those like round lights you can just push on the top, and the light comes on. That's what I use. And there's tubes in the neck that go from about the head and go down the neck. And the top of the tube is touching the light. So if I push down on the front of Canine's head, the tubes will push in the light, and the light will come on, so it saves taking the lid on and off all the time. Now those tubes, they're already lying about the house. I wouldn't know where to get them from, but they're not very big. They're just pretty thin. They're probably about the thickness of a pen on the end. About the whole pen. Find something like that. It's really strong because it also supports the neck as well. Also, I don't want to. No, I'm not being nasty or anything like this. That's not me. But basically, I won't give away the measurements if I can help it, because with me, when I started making models, I went completely going by pictures and working out the measurements like that by looking at the pictures and various other things. So I'd advise you to do the same. I will say one thing: when I stand up, so if you get your average size adult who's like 5 foot something or whatever, K9 from the bottom to there goes just below my knee, like flash off my leg. Go just about roughly there, just below. There's my knee, and it'll do just below. So that's roughly his height, there to there. And another bit of advice for you is when you start making him, don't start with the head first, because if you do that, I find that if you start with something like the head first, you could do that, and then you'll make the body, and then one thing will look bigger than the other or something. It'll just look crazy. If you start with making the body first, once you've drawn that out on a piece of cardboard and you're happy with the size of it, then you can get the idea of how big the head should be, and then you can by doing that you can get it just looking just right. So that's my advice to you on that. There are plans out there, and I did find some. I think I found a copy of the original plans. Problem is you couldn't really see the writing well, which was a bit of a downer. But yeah, when you want to see if you can get, you know, shape and everything right, look at anything you can, like pictures of K9 on his own and next to people that are either kneeling by him or standing by him, so it gives you the idea of height and length. Look at DVDs, that's all I did. And if you concentrate and use your eye, you can do it, honestly. You really can. So, I just wish you good luck on that. I hope this video helped. I tried my best to explain. I hope it helped. What I'll do, if I can, I'll try and link. By the way, you can add me on Facebook. But what I'll do, I'll try and link my photo album that's on my Facebook to this video. So if you want to look at pictures of this one, you can do. So, and like I say, if you want to add me on Facebook, you can. You can add me on Twitter if you want to, but I hardly use the thing. So, that's basically that, really. That's all I can think of to try and help you. So, if you do start building your own K9, good luck. And if you do want to show me your results, I don't mind. It'd be nice to see. So, and if you are of a certain age, please ask your parents or at least an adult to do certain things, like things to do with really sharp stuff. We don't want anyone injured. Right, so that's that. Like I say, good luck and take care. Bye bye. Paint. I forgot to tell you it. The paint I used is this spray paint, and it's called, because the closest I found to the original prop colour, it's called Ford Medium Steel Blue. Now I don't know if it's going to show up on camera well due to the sun, but yeah. And that's the colour I used on K9. Just remember, Ford Medium Steel Blue, and in a spray can. And I got this from the range. You probably find it in other shops, but I got mine from the range. Right, now I've done that, and as I said before, good luck on if you try to build a K9. Hope it goes well for you, and take care.